Yeah.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into NXT Stand and Deliver from April the 19th, 2025. A very solid, fun show. Shawn Michaels outdid himself on this show. In my opinion, he hit a grand slam out of the park. All the matches were good. Very good stuff. And this set the tone for WrestleMania 41 both nights. So this is definitely going to set the tone. So before we get into the main show, we're going to get into the pre-show real quick. It was a Fatal 4-Way elimination tag team match. The winners will they'll get a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships this coming Tuesday. So that's cool. The Metaphor Girls, Last Legend and Jakara Jackson versus Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley and Jacy Kane versus Chemical X, which is G.D. Dolan and Tatum Paxley versus Fraxiom Perez and Cora Jade. The winners of the match ended up being Chemical X. They ended up winning the match via the cement drive for the 1, 2, 3. It's basically just the double team version of Tatum Paxley's finish, which is great. So that's pretty cool there. So towards the end of the match, Roxanne Perez just walked out. She left Cora Jade all alone, and she ended up getting eliminated. So that's fine. It makes sense. It seems like to me that the Metaphor Girls, Last Legend, and Jakara Jackson, they're going to get caught up soon. It's just time. I think they are ready at some point. They're ready to go. But we'll have to wait and see how things play out. But the match was fine. It was fun. All right, on to the main card. This leads us into the first match of the night for Stand and Deliver. Ricky Saints defeats Ethan Page to retain the NXT North American Championship. This match was pretty decent. So there was a part in the match where Ricky was going to go, I guess, for a crossbody on the outside. He missed. No. He was going to do some type of flying move, and then Ethan Page just shoved him. He landed on the over the announce table. He hit his knee. I think it was his left knee that got hit. And then also, Ricky also hurt his back as well. And oddly enough, Ethan Page ended up hitting the Twisted Grin. No, not the Twisted Grin, my bad. He ended up hitting the Ego's Edge, and Ricky ended up kicking out. And then Ricky ended up winning the match via a spear into the Rochambeau for the 1, 2, 3. Makes perfect sense. This is great. I'm a fan of Ricky Saints. I really am. He's going to do big things in NXT. Ethan Page, I do like him as a character. He is a solid, serviceable heel. But it's time for him to move his ass on up to the main roster. It's time. I know next weekend he's going to be at Rebellion. He's not going to win. But he should be on SmackDown in the mid-card or Raw. Either or. It's just time for him to get out of NXT. He's been there long enough. And he's a serviceable heel. Put him on, Raw or SmackDown, preferably SmackDown, and he should be okay. So that's what I would do. Moving on. So this leads us into Fraxiom versus Hank and Tank for the WWE NXT Tag Team Championships. And Fraxiom is defeated by Hank and Tank. This match, I'm not going to hold you guys up, it was good. I'm not a fan of Hank and Tank. I'm just not. I get their characters. I understand their gimmick, but I'm just not on board with them. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. This shit cooked. This was a really good match here. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fraxiom did their usual stuff, their high-flying stuff. So there was a spot in the match where Hank wanted to do, I guess, maybe a suicide dive. He missed it. He landed on the table. It took him out. Then Fraxiom ended up taking advantage. They ended up hitting not the golden ratio, but they ended up hitting, he hit the golden ratio into the Phoenix Splash combo, and Hank kicked out, and then Hank and Tank, they won when they hit the running headbutt power slam combo for the 1-2-3. And they are the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Makes sense. It really does. The crowd was super into this shit. Commentary was too, from Vic Joseph, Booker T, and Corey Graves. So all three were on board. Like I said before, the crowd was super into it. This is fine. This makes sense. I'm guessing Fraxiom's going to get their call up as well. So if that is the case, and that is to be believed and confirmed, then they need to bring down a couple of teams to fill the void of Fraxiom. Now, who could that be? You could do Motor City Machine Guns, even though they have their tag match next week on Friday Night SmackDown. You could still bring them in. You could also bring in DIY if you want to. You could bring in the Viking Raiders. So there are teams that you can bring back down to NXT. You could also bring down Legado. I've been saying that for months, that the NXT needs to bring down old tag teams that they aren't using on the main roster. You could also bring back Pretty Deadly. So that's fine too. Either way, the NXT tag team division is extremely weak and lackluster. Fraxiom beat all the teams multiple times, basically. And now it just seems like, Hank and Tank are champions for now. Are they going to have a long run with the titles? Probably not. They might be transitional champions in a sense that they could hold the gold for about maybe 3 months. So maybe they end up losing at the Great American Bash, which I think is usually around July, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look into it, but I think it is usually in July when they do the Great American Bash, and maybe that's when Hank and Tank lose there. I do believe that Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they're going to give them a decent run with the titles. They're not going to just switch the titles out on Tuesday coming up for NXT. That wouldn't even make any sense, and to be honest with you, that wouldn't even be fair. Even though I don't like Hank and Tank, at least give them a serviceable run. Don't just give them a week or two run and then that's it. Don't do that. So, there's that. Moving on. So we had some backstage stuff with popular magicians, Pent, Jatel, and Teller. I have no idea who the fuck these guys are. I really don't. I don't keep up with this stuff at all. They had a backstage confrontation with Lexis King. They played a magic trick on Lexis King, taking his Heritage Cup trophy. They made his trophy disappear. So, so that's fine, I guess. He was searching for it throughout most of the show. Makes sense. But again, I'm not into this type of shit. I really am not. I get it. It's to kind of pop the natives, the Las Vegas natives who are there, but it really didn't. Because, even backstage, nobody said anything and made any noise from what I could hear. But I don't like when WWE does stuff like this. If you're going to do it, it needs to pop the crowd. And really, nobody was into this shit at all. So, why do it? But it is what it is. To me, it's not that important. Moving on. So this leads us into the ladder match. The 6-woman ladder match for the vacated the Women's North American Championship. Zarya versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dame versus Lola Vice versus Thea Hale. Thea Hale still has that crazy, almost Eddie Edwards-like theme song. I don't like it. Change it. Just give her maybe like some basic radio rock, maybe something like Shine Down or Breaking Benjamin or something like that. But, all this metalcore, deathcore stuff, like, stop it. Like, come on. And I'm a fan of that genre of music. I really am. But you don't need to do that all the time. Just do a simple, like, Breaking Benjamin song or something from Slipknot or Linkin Park or something. Like, damn. But this match was actually fun. The crowd was super into it. It's just typical spots. So Lola Vice, she ended up doing the spinning back fist. She hurt her hand in the match. So towards the end of the match, the Calling, they came out and they got involved. And so Ruca, she got on the ladder. She took them all out. Then, right when the match was getting ready to end, Sol Ruca ended up coming down to Zarya and Sol Ruca. The two of them, they fought, and then Zarya was like Spider-Man. She was fighting. She ended up kicking Zarya off the ladder upside down, which was fucking insane. I was like, holy shit, that's insane. Like, the crowd popped massive for that. Like, that was great. So Zarya was out there. Then Sol Ruca ended up hitting Soul Snatchers out of nowhere. I think she took out Lola Vice on one of them. She ended up hitting 3 of them. She ended up doing a double, and then she ended up hitting just one on somebody else. Can't remember. I think it was Thea Hale who ate one of them, and then one of the doubles was eaten by, I want to say, I want to just say Izzy Dame ate it, but it doesn't matter, So Ruca ended up hitting the double soul snatcher. She climbed up the ladder and won the match. So great call there, perfect sense. Crowd super into it. I was into it. I was actually thinking that Lola Vice was going to end up winning. I had either Sol Ruca or Zarya as a dark horse, either of them as a dark horse. Also had Thea Hale to win this too, but it is what it is. So this is great. I'm trying to think, what do they do now? Are they going to call up Lola Vice? Lola's been there for about 2+ years. She came in around the same time as Jada Parker did. So I'm wondering, are they really going to call up a couple people from this match? I don't know. I don't think anybody in this match will get released at all. I refuse to believe that. I just think the only person who's ready to get called up from this bunch of women would probably have to be, if we're being honest, Lola Vice. I think, she could do decent on the main roster, but we truly have to wait and see, because at this point in time, what else do you do with Lola Vice? Do you just turn her heel and have her go after have her go after Sol Ruca? Do you turn Zarya heel? So I don't know, but it seems like now that Sol Ruca won, there probably is going to be some jealousy with Zarya, leaving for Zarya to turn heel on Sol Ruca, and that should be interesting. But match was decent, really decent little ladder match. Moving on, so this leads us into a backstage segment involving Chemical X. So Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley, they tell Sarah Schreiber that they've been busting their asses over the past couple of months, especially in TNA and in NXT, and they're ready to bring those women's tag team titles back home. Okay, good stuff there. Makes perfect sense. Will it happen? I would imagine they probably are going to switch the titles. Probably not, though. Moving on. So this leads us into the family, which is Tony D, Stacks, and Lucha Cristofano taking on Darkstate. I think it was Deion Lennox in this match. James Connor, or Connor James, and Saquon Sugars. So Darkstate ended up winning the match. The match was okay. So towards the end of the match, Stacks, he did turn. So they actually ended up laying out everybody. Ended up taking out Darkstate. And then Tony D and Stacks, they embraced. And then Tony D turns. And then out of nowhere, Stacks just low blows Tony D. He kicks him straight in the nuts. And then this allowed for Darkstate to hit the powerbomb for the 1-2-3. And Darkstate wins. The family is no more. They're all pissed. Adrian Rizzo was pissed. Luca Cristofano was pissed. And then Stacks just hauls ass and dips out. So, really good stuff. I was thinking that maybe Stacks was going to be the main guy of Darkstate. I was thinking maybe he was going to be like the mastermind, but that wasn't the case. He should, because it makes sense, but he had to get away from the D'Angelo family. He's been a part of it for like well over 2 years, and I think Stacks can be a serviceable heel, and I'm interested in seeing where this goes. So maybe we could see where him and Tony D, they end up feuding for a little bit, and maybe this leads Tony D to go up to the main roster. I don't know how he would fare on the main roster. I really don't, because the type of vignettes that he's done in the past in NXT have been very, very, they've been fairly solid and really good and graphic, but on the main roster, I don't know how that would play out, because Triple H is not that type of booker to do that type of stuff that Shawn Michaels does in NXT. He refuses to do it. He should do it, but he refuses to do it. So, I don't know. But I am interested in this heel turn with Stacks. Good stuff here. Moving on, so this leads us into the women's Fatal 4-Way. Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia versus Jordynne Grace versus Jada Parker for the Women's NXT Championship. Stephanie Vaquer retains. This match was okay. Jada Parker was able to do her triple side butt thing in the corner. That was great. We now know what Stephanie Vaquer does with her knees when she takes her opponent's head and puts it in the mat like 5 or 6 times. It's now called the Devil's Kiss, so that's what it was called by commentary from Corey Graves, which is a great name. So really good stuff there. Crowd chanted for Booker T when that happened, and it actually happened 3 times, which was great. So the ending came down when everybody basically just like hit their finisher, and Jada Parker ended up taking the pin. So Stephanie Vaquer hit the SVB for the 1-2-3. So that was cool there. Really good stuff. A decent match. Makes sense. What do you do with these women going forward? Who would I call up? Personally, I wouldn't really call up really anybody. I don't think that Julia is ready to go on the main roster. She's not, unless Triple H has like long-term concrete plans for her. Jordynne Grace is sort of kind of main roster ready. You could probably put her in either women's mid-card title contention, so whether it's the U.S. title or the Intercontinental Championship title, either or, you could slot her in those roles for a while. It's going to be a minute before she gets into the main event scene on the main roster. And Jada Parker and Stephanie Vaquer are just not ready. Jada Parker, she's good. I think she probably ends up staying in NXT for another year. She probably won't get caught up until maybe like late 2026, maybe early 2027. So she's going to stick in NXT for a good little bit. Same thing with Stephanie Vaquer. But the only two, the only one that I would call up if you've got concrete plans for her would be Jordynne Grace. If you want to bring in Julia, same thing. As long as you have concrete plans for both women, then I'm fine with it. But if you don't, you can kindly fuck off with that. Moving on. So this leads us into Stacks. He was backstage. He got into the SUV. He leaves the T-Mobile Arena. He tells Lucia Cristofano that he'll explain his actions on NXT this Tuesday. Good stuff. Great stuff. Okay. That's good. Excellent stuff. Main event of the evening. Oba Femi versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. And you guys know that I'm not a fan of triple threat matches, but this match was fucking amazing. I love this match, man. This match was fast-paced. Everyone sold their spots perfectly. Really good stuff in this match. Trick Williams ended up doing a front backflip in this match as well. He ended up showing some high-flying ability. He ended up doing a bunch of like axe kicks, a couple uranagis. Javon, in my opinion, was the EVP of this match. Oba did his power moves. So there was a spot in the match where Trick put Oba through a table via the uranagi. That was great. Javon ended up doing his cutter a couple times on both guys. Javon ended up almost winning when he hit the cutter. He actually ended up scoop slamming Oba through the mat, which was fucking insane because Javon is like 180. Damn, bro. So he's in that gym probably benching maybe like 350, something like that. But damn, Javon Evans did great with that. In the end, though, everybody hit their finisher. So Javon hit his cutter. Trick reversed that into the trick knee. And then Oba ended up doing the Fall from Grace powerbomb onto Trick Williams. And then he ended up doing a second one, the sit-down version of that. And he retained 1, 2, 3. Oba wins. Great stuff there. Crowd loved it. I was super into it. The announcers were into it as well. Really good stuff there. What is next for Trick Williams? I don't know. I would assume you could just do Trick Williams versus Trick Williams versus Javon Evans. The winner of that is the true number one contender. Then you could probably put Javon Evans with Ricky Saints. That's what I would do. I would kind of just keep him strong, but put him in that mid-card for a while and let him cook there. But this was a really good match. Oba, who faces Oba? Probably Trick. So maybe they run that back. Maybe they do Oba and Trick at the Great American Bash in July. Maybe that's what they do. But we have to wait and see. I don't think anybody's going to get caught up here. It makes no sense to call anybody up at all. Why would you? Oba's only been there for 2 years. Javon just got there. He's been there about a year and some change. And Trick's been there for about 3 years. But Trick wouldn't get the type of reaction he would on the main roster. He just wouldn't. I think Trick Williams would probably get lost in the shuffle if he was on the main roster. But all in all, Stand and Deliver from start to bottom, from top to bottom was great. From start to finish was great. Really good shit. Thoroughly enjoyed this. But what did you guys think of Stand and Deliver? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.